Just go ahead. Oh, hello, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Paper Wheel Studio, the home of the Wheelchair Crafter here. I am back for day 4 of the 100-day challenge. And I brought with me today a couple of the pockets that I did offline so I could show you. These are for a boy's journal. It is a baby boy journal that I'm kind of making mainly from scratch. Today we're going to make some journal cards for that journal. And I've got some stuff here all ready to go. These are just some things that I fussy cut and some baby boy decorations that I had from leftover from a twin journal that I made my niece. And let me get my brayer out of here, folks. We don't need it today. There we go. And I have a little dish of some ephemera from Tim Holtz. One thing including, this isn't a Tim Holtz, it's just a milk bottle cap. I'm not sure where I got it. Somebody gave it to me, I believe. But I want to use that on one of the cards or tags or something. I'm not quite sure yet. So I do have that here. I also have just some laces that I pulled that might work. Some faux, washi faux lace tape. My glue. This is a PVA glue made by Ranger. So I've just got it in a little glue bottle because it is easier when it's smaller for me. I gotta remember to close this down because I don't want it to, get clotted off. It does dry quicker than your average white glue. And I also have, I'm not going to use that glue. We can just move that out of the way. And I also have a glue stick here should I need it. And of course, I can't forget the ink I'm using for this journal. I'm using Stormy Sky Distress Oxide by Tim Holtz Ranger. Actually, just says Ranger, but it's listed as a Tim Holtz product. And I have my inker with a domed. I prefer the domed inking sponges, by the way. I don't know what you prefer. Comment below and let me know what you've tried and used for inking. You don't have to have a dauber. I believe I picked these up on sale. Might even come from Temu. It's become my addiction. It's hard to not order from them once you start, folks, and start playing their games and all that kind of stuff. So I don't mind because I'm getting things that I can use on my videos and in my crafting for very, very cheap. And thus far, the prices have not gone up. I mentioned in my last video, though, I've noticed that the Amazon prices are rising. So keep an eye out. We are going to simply start. I've got some things prepped here, and I'll let you know what I've done. That way you can see, what you'll need for this video. I've just used some random 3x5 cards. I rounded the corners on them, but these are ones I've not done anything to. You could use them plain and decorate them if you have colored index cards. If you have the lined ones, you could even decorate the white side and still leave the lines on the back if you did not want to decorate them. I have taken some of these cards and simply covered them with various papers. I'll pull a couple out here that we could just decorate. Here's one that matches a pocket that I just showed you, so we'll leave that one in because I kind of like papers to kind of coordinate when you're doing a journal. I think we'll do this blue one too. That would go well for a boy. These are just index cards that I have, again, covered. I've got some light blue ones that can be left light blue if I use them in the boys' journal. But see where I folded this one over? I could leave it like that, or I could cover it because that goes real well with the blue. This is one that I covered just on one side, and the back's even got the lines. I'll likely cover it as well. What I did to cover the backs of my cards, got a couple more here. We'll just throw these in for extra measure in case we have extra time. And these are simply, I took a paper bag, used paper bag, didn't have anything on it. And simply cut these out to be the 3x5 size, minus just a slight bit on the top and bottom. The edges are pretty much right, just a fraction from the edge. And I'm going to glue these down on the back to cover up the backs of some of these. This one I'll definitely glue one down on. Let's see what the back of this one looks like. That one I could just simply leave as is with the brown cardboard on the back. So I'm probably going to do that. That one is white, so we'll cover that one. And let's see what else I got here. This one might, oh, that one's already blue. And I like that it's blue because it coordinates with the front. So we're just going to leave that one like that. I might not use these two in the journal that I'm making. But I may go ahead and just decorate them up in general. That way you can see some done with nature things. I got two here that I do need to cover on the back, so I'll pull those out first. And I'm just simply going to put some glue stick. I'm going to use my glue stick for this. I often do not put a glue mat under, but please do as I say, not as I do, and get you something to glue on top of. Let's see what I've got here that I could use. I have an envelope here that I was going to make something with, but I have a ton of these, so I'm simply going to glue on it, then I can let it dry and collage over top of it. It just is what I happen to have on my desk here, so I'm going to use it as my glue paper while I get these couple backings glued to the tags. So just going to put some of this down. I'm using Aleene's glue stick. It is a smaller glue stick, so it takes a little while to get your property covered, so to speak. However, it's just Aleene's DIY permanent glue stick. So let me turn it up a little more here. Oh, it just hit my lap, so thank goodness that cap didn't go to the floor. Let me grab it here before it works its way down there. All right, there we go. And when you're making journal cards like this, if you're covering it with paper, or even when you're putting your backing on, if you don't have it cut to size, you can either put it on and then trim around it with your scissors, or you could even tear it and give it the torn edge look. You could also, rather than trimming it, you could sand it off with a sanding block. You have a lot of different options depending on what you like to do. I do like to mention them, even though I don't do them all. You obviously can't do them all at one time anyway. So here we go. We're just going to do the best I can with putting this down as straight as I can here. It just is really almost the exact same size as this card. The thing about glue stick, folks, is if you use it to put your stuff down, you can then move your stuff around just slightly. Didn't quite get it there, but you know what we'll do? We will trim that off, and we will wrinkle the back, not wrinkle, we will trim the back of that and ink, and that will cover up the white parts that's showing. So let me get this pressed down here good. Yeah, I'm using my hand today. I don't have my brayer out. I just put it away because I said we weren't going to use it, didn't I? Here's my scrapey thing. I think you're a lot better off when you're putting papers together if you actually go ahead and do this, because it will get that glue to seep down in your paper, where if you just stick it on there, it takes a little bit for your glue and things to seep down where you want it to go. I can never do anything perfectly straight, so if you're looking for perfection, maybe my channel is not the place for you. If you like to see perfectly crafted items, because as I see it, first of all, nobody's perfect. And second of all, if you're making a journal, I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to have, I mean, it's called a junk journal. Junk journals are supposed to not necessarily look like junk, but supposed to not be perfect. There's no right way or wrong way to do it. There we go. That takes care of that. And then we'll get to that one, we'll ink it. Let me see if I can get this other one covered a bit here. I could just leave it brown, but I want to cover these 8 edges where I fold. This is a very thin paper, so I folded it over. And I want to get these, oh, I don't want to use that glue. I want to use this glue. And I'm just simply going to put it down, right down on the card. And last time I believe I put it on the paper. It doesn't really matter which you put it on. But if for some reason you're putting it on something and the things aren't the same size, then obviously you don't want to put it on the larger item or you're going to have a lot of glue left over around it. So you could even tear this or cut it to be slightly smaller and you'd have that frame of the blue around it. You know, some of these papers are ones that I wouldn't use for pages in a journal, but once you get things like this decorated up, it looks pretty cool. I think that will, I'll make sure I get all my edges good here. It's our last one that we need to cover. And we'll start decorating it up. Index cards are just a really quick and easy base. You can buy them at the dollar store if you buy the lined ones. I'm not sure if they carry the colored or the plain ones. If you're aware of that, you can let me know. But I know definitely they have the lined ones. Well, that one gave me a little bit at the top and bottom. I think I'm just a little crooked on the sideways, but that's okay. Can't see it on the other side there, so we're going to call that a done one and not even trim any more of that because we want to have space. The reason you cover the backs of journal cards, if you're new, well, just drop something on the floor. Oh well. If you're new, then one thing to know, journal cards are something that can be put in a pocket or a tuck spot or even just clipped in your journals, and they're for writing on. They're decorated up on the front to match the journal that you might be putting it in or to coordinate. Some people don't match everything, and I really don't. I just coordinate if I'm doing a baby boy. I tend to use boys and things like that on them. But they're designed to just be decorated up and placed in a journal. All right, so now we have 4 journal cards here that we can work with. I actually have one more here to the side, a couple more that I can pull from should we have more time to do that. I like to keep my videos to about 30 minutes, and then we'll lay that aside because I can still collage on that, even though I have glue on it. As I was saying, I try to keep my videos at 30 minutes or less for the 100-day challenge. Not everybody has a lot of time to craft every day, but if you're a crafter, most people can come up with a half an hour to create something. So let's see what I put. Some little cut things down in my, there's a cute little dog. I thought maybe I could use him on something. And I believe I put some people down in here, some little boys and things. So let me, probably gonna have to dump this whole thing out, so create a mess on my desk. But I've been picking up after each video. I find that if I clean up after each video, that it's so much easier when I start creating again, whether it be the next day or even later that day. I also have some tiny Tim Holtz people in here. Actually, Tim Holtz boys. Since it's going to be a journal for a boy, I wanted to use boys in it. Yeah, I got little flower things, but I probably won't use, any of that. And I want my smaller stuff for these journal cards since I'm going to be collaging things. Let's see. I also have a few of the Tim Holtz bits that are with some little bit of boy related cards. I have a bug card here. I figured boys and bugs go well together. And let's see what else. Nope, those are all just stuck in the bottom. We'll leave those in there. Don't need a mushroom. We can put that away. I know I had some more Tim Holtz people. but they must be lost in the shuffle here because I don't know where they are. We'll just scoot that pile back, and I'll get in my bag here. I might have stuck some of them in this little bag. This is just a little bag that I saved when I was, when I had things I knew when I knew I was going to be doing a boy's journal. Well, there's a little Tim Holtz dog, which is just adorable by himself. And then I have a bunch of bits here that I could pull from as well if I want to. Don't have to use these. These are just some leftover bits from another journal. Like I said, I made my niece a twin one. So I've got some bits and pieces for that. I also have a little poem I cut out of an Ideals magazine. It talks about Little Boy Land. I have an index card that I die cut a dog out of. And I saved it because I do like the having that, what do you want to say? When you stamp something, what is the outside of that called around your stamp? I have no clue. I also had this piece that will look really cool probably on a journal card of some kind. It looks like a photograph of a boy and a doctor. I have a boy and a dog that I cut from a Norman Rockwell. It's a picture book that had pictures from Norman Rockwell. So I just fussy cut him out of it. He reminds me a lot of Tom Sawyer. Not sure why the flower's there, but we'll put that to the side. I also have a guy riding a horse. Boy and girl on this side on the teeter-totter, but this one's just a picture of a boy playing with kittens and a cat. So I got that. That came from an old school book. These are some leftover digitals that I had from where I made the baby journal for my niece. And I've got some little bottle paper clips, some diaper pins, and various little blue items. I have this little crib. It can be put on a journal card as well. And a big blue bow. Another little bit here. Again, left over from the kit with a lamb and a blue flower. I believe the kit was possibly from Poppy Shop Printables. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe that's where the kit came from. I have another bottle that's fussy cut out. And what else do I have? Just some variety of little things here. I don't know if these were in the baggie or with, I think those, yeah, those are from the Tim Holtz. This is a little dog that I fussy cut. Did not fussy cut this. It's from a die cut, folks. Sorry about that, but he is from a die cut. You can see what I think is so cool. Look at the little ear. Can you see the little indentations for the ear and the eye? Actually, there's none for the eye. It's just the ear. I thought I had an eye one too, but it just makes it look a little more realistic. And let's see what else I got fussy cut here. Another boy. These are from, these ones here that are blue, they are from an Ideals, Children's Ideals magazine. A little boy playing with a train. Clock doesn't have to go with this. I also have a boy holding his hand up at the table. A dad and a boy camping and sitting by the fire. And lastly, I have a pirate looking through his spyglass, because what little boy doesn't want to be a pirate, right? Okay. All right. So we got 2 journal cards here. I like to, because that's just how I like to do it, I will lay both of these out here. Here's my other little boys. They were stuck in somehow with these journal cards laying over here to the side. So here's my other Tim Holtz guys that I pulled out. Might do well on a journal card. And then I have this little boy who's all nice and dressed up there. I also have some ledger and a photo report card here. So I'm sure I want to use those on one of the cards. Now, when you do the 3x5 journal cards, You have two choices. Are you going to make your journal card this way, so it'll go in an upright pocket? Or are you going to do your journal card this way, so you would have a spread this way? I think for these two, I'm going to turn them like this and put them that way. I also have some laces over here and ribbons that might work as well. All right, so I have, actually, you know what? That is, oh, that's a steam packet. What? Steam packet down the bay line. So we'll put that back here. We'll start with the report card here. And this is a piece of ledger. Let's switch these. Let's put the ledger on this one. And let's put the report card right there. We're going to start with that. We're going to do some layering here and just kind of see what we come up with. See what some of the larger ones, the small ones, of course, that's kind of small, I think, for this, though it could be done that way. He's kind of cute, but he kind of blends in there, doesn't he? Yeah. This is a larger one. If we use him, he's going to have to go on something sideways. So I think we'll save him for a larger pocket. This little guy is absolutely adorable. I think, since he's blue, I like him over here on this one. So let's use him on this one. And we do need something that looks, you know, report card, we don't want a young child, but we do have a bottle and some things here that we could eventually use on one to make it more like a baby kind of thing. I also have this guy, which looks like he's a boy going to school, and looky there, folks, that just really looks great sitting there like that. We're going to put him up just a little so it looks like he's sitting on the top of his report card, and he's got his little dog there with him. I really like that. I don't know if he needs something else. I kind of like him just like he is, so I'm going to go ahead and glue him down. Where did I put my white glue? Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. I can always come back and add a number or something to it, which I may do. But for now, we're just going to put him down. I could come back also and add a little bug or mushroom to this with the little boy, because he seems to be, look as if he's sitting outside with his doggy. And little boys like to sit in fields or out, you know, in the grass, and at least they used to. What do young children like to do nowadays? My son is in his 30s, and when he was little, we had, you know, 6 acres of property. Not everybody, I realize, has that. But we tried to encourage him to go outside and do things. Play, you know, take a walk in the woods with your friends. Go, you know, pick up sticks. Do things outside rather than spending your day inside. We often would tell him, you know, today's the day you're going to go outside. You can decide what you're going to do, but it needs to be done outside today. It's too pretty to stay in, and we often would tell him that. So I'm just pushing that down good and rocking my hand back and forth just so I can make sure it stays down well. And then I have this guy that I want to sit right there as if he's sitting on top of that report card. There are probably some boys out there that still to this day get the report card and they have to take it home to mom and dad, and some of them probably don't want mom and dad to be seeing that report card. Though nowadays we have so much with cell phones, I don't know, maybe the teachers keep track with parents so that they know before the report card comes if their child is not doing well in school. I don't know. You guys can let me know, those of you who have children in school. I'm sure different teachers at schools do things differently. So I see that 6 right there on top of my random pieces of ephemera here, and I think I need to grab that and stick it on here somewhere. It's just jumping out at me saying, I need to be used. I need to be used. Again, I didn't do any inking, but he looks good without inking. Yeah, I like that. Or would I want it here? Oh, I even like it even better up there. We're going to put it right up here in the corner. Oh. Here I go with my glue stick. No lid. And the good thing about that is that the Aleene's glue sticks do not, if you leave the lid off, unless you leave it off overnight, if you just leave it off for a few, they don't tend to get hard unless they're left off for quite some time. All right, I want to make sure that is on the card, not off, and I want to make sure it's straight. So here we go. Well, that finishes one card. Got one card done in 25 minutes. I don't think next one will take us as long, because we've already got, where'd our boy go that was boxing? Really? Oh, there he is. So we're going to do this. I think we will ink our boxing boy here. Let me get this part down. And if I do find, oh, I just found a bug, we're going to add that to the little Tom Sawyer guy on the bottom of the report card, just because I think it's adorable. And it would go, oh, don't do as I do. Put it right side up, folks. Good thing about using white glue like this, your PVA glue, usually you can pull it back up without destroying anything. Here is a nice random piece of bug. It's not even a piece, it's a random bug. But I don't like bugs on stuff for myself. And he's kind of large, but we're going to put him down here in this corner. Since, yeah, I like him there. Yes, I get glue all over me when I'm making journals. It's just what it is, folks. All right, so there he is. We're going to lay him to the side over here. Now I know for sure that he is done. So here's our boxing boy. I'm going to find my dauber in the mix of everything here and give it a little daub around. I was using it earlier, so hopefully... I do like to ink around the outsides. Yeah, this still has some ink on it. So I'm just going to kind of go around the edges. Inking on your edges just makes things stand out better. Here we go. Oh, here we go now. I think this is going to be our last one, folks. Only because I want to keep my video down. So those extra ones I brought at home at my little Tim Holtz guys, I'll put them back in my baggie so that when I make something else for the journal, which we will do, I will have those to put in it. I like to keep special things separate just for this journal. And it's a lot easier, and I don't have to root through a whole thing like I've got here on my desk. This large, nope, that's probably going to be too big. That'll work. We're going to use that. We're going to stick him like he's standing on the edge of the ledger. I don't like my people to be floating around like they're just out floating in the neverworld. Okay, so now I just want to simply rifle through here and see if I can find some blue type labels that we could use, or something that would coordinate well. Okay, I like that one. So that one's a go. See if I find a small piece of something that would coordinate well. Almost need something. I like the blue. Maybe that green background would look good on this. Hey, look at that. Oh, that's going to be it. That was pretty quick, Miriam. I don't like to mess around. I like to look at my stuff, find something that works, and put it down. The more you mess around with them, the longer it takes, and you start second guessing yourself, and you'll never get anything down there. You'll be changing it every moment you get. Whoops, there's a piece hanging off my finger. Maybe it's telling me it wants to become a part of this one. We'll just give it a shot and see what it looks like. All right, so now we have Mr. Boxing with those. Make sure and get them straight here if I can. And then I have this little tiny piece that says what? Polariscope? Polariscope? I don't know. We'll just see what we can do to put this one down. I also like the fact that a couple of the Tim Holtz bits say fragile, handle with care, and special delivery, which are really cool to use in journals as well. And this even has the green color that will match, will coordinate with that one. And I think I'm just going to put that right so it's touching that green label, but right there above it on the paper. Yeah, like that. I really like that. I think I had enough glue on it. Push it down here if I can push it down with a hand that doesn't have glue on it. So now I have this. That does leave the top of this one open, but I'm okay with that. I don't mind that it does that, and I don't think it needs any trim or anything on this one. I think he's cool just like he is. So we ended up with these two journal cards made from index cards. One I backed with paper. The other one is made from a cardstock index card that I simply rounded corners on. I covered the side that's up on both of these, and I put paper on the back of this one earlier. So that's what we did with index cards. You could even go along and mass make a whole bunch of these if you wanted to. But that's what we did today. So you all have a wonderful evening. I'm glad you joined me for my day 4 video, and I hope that you come back and join me for day 5. Not sure what we'll do tomorrow, but you come back and check it out and see what we've got.